You're losing listing presentations before you even open your mouth. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. Most agents walk into an appointment thinking they lost because other agents undercut their commission or promised a higher price. That's what they tell themselves on the drive home. But that's not why they lost. They lost in the first 60 seconds. The seller already decided they were just another agent. And once that decision gets made, nothing you say after that matters. Hi, I'm Gary Carpenter. I've been in the real estate business for over 28 years. I've done hundreds of listing presentations and I've coached agents through thousands more. The ones who win, the ones closing 80 to 90% of their appointments aren't doing anything complicated. They're just creating 3 emotional shifts in their seller's mind. Most agents never make it past shift 1. In this video, I'm breaking down all 3 shifts, what they are, why they matter, and how to create them. Before I share that with you, let me show you why most agents are losing without even realizing it. So most agents treat listing presentations like sales pitches. They walk in, shake hands, sit down, and immediately start talking. Here's my marketing plan. Here's how I sell homes. Here's why I'm the best agent in the area. The seller sits there nodding. Maybe they ask a few questions, maybe they don't. At the end, they say, "We really appreciate your time. We're interviewing a couple other agents, so we'll let you know." And the agent leaves thinking they did a good job. They didn't. What just happened is the seller sat through a presentation and felt nothing. No connection, no trust, no certainty that this person actually understands what they're going through. So they interviewed 2 more agents. All 3 sound the same. All 3 have nice marketing books and confident smiles. And because the seller has no way to differentiate, they pick based on price or commission. The agent who promised the highest listing price wins, or the agent who agreed to drop their commission wins. And 6 months later, the home's still sitting on the market overpriced with 0 showings because the agent who won the listing had no business winning it in the first place. Here's what most agents don't understand. Sellers aren't hiring the agent with the best marketing plan. They're hiring the agent who makes them feel safest. Safe that you understand their goals, that you know what you're doing, and that you'll guide them through this process without it turning into a disaster. When you don't create that feeling, they hesitate, and hesitation turns into, well, I'll think about it. So how do you create certainty? You guide them through 3 emotional shifts, and each shift builds on the one before it. Let me show you how. So every successful listing presentation moves the seller through 3 shifts. Shift 1, stranger to consultant. Shift 2, consultant to expert. Shift 3, expert to trusted advisor. Most agents jump straight to shift 2. They walk in trying to prove they're the expert. Look at my marketing. Look at my sales numbers. Look at how great I am. But the seller's still stuck at shift 0. They don't even know if they like you yet, and you're already trying to impress them. That's why it feels like selling, because it is. The agents who win don't sell, they guide. They take the seller from, I don't know this person, to this person gets me, to this person knows what they're doing, to this is the person I want in my corner. And each shift requires a different approach. Different questions. Let me walk you through all 3. So the first 5 minutes of a listing appointment determine everything. You're walking into a stranger's home. They're evaluating you before you even sit down. How you carry yourself, how you greet them, whether you feel like someone they can trust or just another salesperson trying to get their signature. Your job in those first 5 minutes is simple. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel heard. Make them feel like you actually care about their situation. Here's how that works. First, you want to arrive early, not just on time, early. Give yourself 10 minutes to sit in your car. Listen to music that gets you in a good headspace and observe the neighborhood. Look at the surrounding homes. When you walk up to the door, smile, genuinely smile. Ring the doorbell, and when they open it, give them a warm greeting and a compliment, something real. Your yard looks incredible. I love the front porch. Whatever feels natural. Don't rush into business. Look around, notice things, photos on the wall, awards, hobbies, anything that gives you a starting point for connection. Is that your daughter? She looks just like you. I saw the golf clubs by the door. Do you play much? Small talk matters. You're building a human connection before you talk business. People relax when they feel like you're a person who's genuinely interested in them. Once you've built a little rapport, lead the way. Sit down with confidence. And before you dive into your presentation, ask one simple question. Before we begin, may I share with you how I work? Most agents skip this. They just start talking. When you ask permission, you earn control. People say yes. And once they say yes, you're running the appointment on your terms. Now you can frame the entire appointment. Something like, I'm going to start by asking you a series of questions. Yes, it's important that we get your home sold, but it's just as important that I fully understand your motivation, your goals, and why this move matters to you. That statement changes the dynamic. They realize you care about their situation, not just the commission check. Then you ask these questions. Where are you moving? Why are you moving? When do you need to be there? What type of home are you looking for? Have you found one yet? You're having a conversation. You're learning their story. And when you listen, people trust you. Most agents spend the entire appointment talking. Top producers spend most of it listening. Remember, God gave you one of these and two of these, so use them in the right proportion. By the end of shift one, the seller should feel like you actually understand what they're going through. Once you have that, you move to shift two. Now they trust you as a person, but they don't know yet if you're any good at your job. Shift two is where you prove you're an expert. This happens during a walkthrough and the pricing conversation. After you've asked all your questions, say, let's take a look at the home. I'd love for you to show it to me as if you were a buyer walking through for the first time. Then add this. And with your permission, I may point out a few things that could help your home show better or sell faster. Would you be okay with that? Always ask permission before giving feedback. When you ask first, sellers let their guard down. They're ready to hear what you have to say instead of getting defensive about their home. As you walk through, pay attention. Look for strengths. Highlight them. Beautiful natural light. Great layout. Updated kitchen. Whatever stands out. But also look for opportunities. Things that could hurt the sale. Clutter, needed repairs, curb appeal issues, deferred maintenance. And when you point these things out, frame them from the buyer's perspective. When a buyer walks in, the first thing they notice is the entryway. If we can declutter this space and add some lighting, it will make a stronger first impression. You're helping them see the home the way buyers will see it. Most sellers have lived in their home for years. They don't notice the scratched baseboards or the outdated light fixtures. You do. And when you point these things out with kindness and clarity, they respect your expertise. After the walkthrough, come back to the kitchen table. This is where you talk price. Most agents dread this part. They're scared the seller will get defensive or disagree. But if you built trust in shift one and demonstrated expertise during the walkthrough, the pricing conversation is easy. Here's how I frame it. There are three things that sell a home: price, condition, and location. Location's out of our control. We can acknowledge it. If the home backs to a busy street or sits near power lines, buyers will notice. But we can also highlight the positives. Maybe it backs to a park or has incredible privacy. Either way, location is what it is. Condition is something we can control. If you want top dollar, the home needs to be in the best condition possible. That might mean painting, updating, flooring, fixing electrical or plumbing issues. Because if we don't address these things now, buyers will ask for discounts later. And then there's price. Once we've factored in location and condition, price is what determines whether the home sells. Then you walk them through the CMA. Don't just show numbers, explain them. Here's what's sold in the last 90 days. Here's what's currently active, and here's what is expired and why. You're showing them data, and data creates clarity. When sellers understand the logic behind the price, they don't argue, they get it. And if they bring up Zillow, don't dismiss it, acknowledge it. I'm glad you looked at Zillow. A lot of sellers do. Let me show you why Zillow's estimate doesn't account for condition, recent sales, or buyer behavior in this specific neighborhood. You're teaching them how the market actually works. And when you do that with clarity and patience, they trust your pricing recommendation. By the end of shift 2, the seller should think you know the market better than anyone else they've talked to. Now you move to shift 3. So now expertise alone won't get you the listing. The seller needs to feel like you're on their side, that you'll fight for them, that choosing you is the safest decision they can make. Shift 3 is where you become their trusted advisor. Here's how you do it. Summarize their goals back to them. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you need to be in Denver by June. You're looking for a home in the 500K range, and your biggest concern is making sure this home sells quickly so you're not carrying 2 mortgages. Did I get that right? This shows them we're actually paying attention. They feel understood, and that matters more than most agents realize. Then tie your plan directly to their needs. Here's how we're going to achieve that. We're going to price the home competitively based on the comps we just reviewed. We're going to stage it to show in the best possible light. And we're going to market aggressively to every qualified buyer and agent in the area. And based on current market conditions, and I'm confident we can have this under contract within X days. Your plan is specific. It's tailored to what they told you they needed. You're not giving a generic pitch. You're showing them exactly how you're going to solve their problem. Now you ask for the listing. If I can demonstrate how we'll achieve your goals, is there any reason we wouldn't move forward today? That's a confident question, and confidence is what sellers want. Most of the time, they'll say yes, but sometimes they'll say, we're interviewing a couple other agents. Don't panic, don't drop your commission, and don't start discounting yourself. Just say that's smart. You should interview multiple agents. What criteria are you using to make your decision? Then listen and address those criteria directly. If they say something like, we want someone who knows the neighborhood, you talk about your expertise in that area. If they say, we want aggressive marketing, you walk them through your marketing plan in detail. You're positioning yourself as the obvious choice without trashing the other agents. And if they say, we need to think about it, don't let them off the hook. Say absolutely. What specifically would you like to think about? Most of the time, there's an objection hiding behind that phrase. Uncover it. Address it on the spot. By the end of shift 3, the seller should feel like you're the person they want representing them. When you've created all 3 shifts, you don't have to sell them. They're already sold. So these 3 shifts are how trust gets built in any professional relationship. Doctors diagnose before they prescribe. Lawyers ask questions before they give advice. Financial advisors understand your goals before they recommend a strategy. Top producing agents do the same thing. If you want the exact scripts I use word for word, I've put together a free agent script book in the description below. Download it and use it. And if you want the complete system, listing presentations, objection handling, follow-up sequences, and the entire production architect to build referral-based real estate business, check out the production program. First link in the description. Subscribe to this channel. I'm breaking down every piece of the system in the coming weeks. And please leave a comment below. Which shift do you struggle with most? 1, 2, or 3. Create the shifts, win the listings. I'll see you in the next video.